There is no power outside of the imagination of man, none. What you call reality is nothing more than the shadow of your inner conversations hardened into fact. And until man learns that he is the author, not the victim, of every event in his world, he shall continue to live in bondage to false gods, worshipping causes outside himself, cursing effects he once imagined, and wondering why nothing ever changes. But I tell you now, there is a sacred power within you, a force that time obeys, that the past cannot resist, a spiritual alchemy that transcends memory and redefines destiny. I speak of revision. You may believe the past is fixed, that it is written, etched in stone, sealed in time, but I declare with absolute certainty it is not. The past is not dead. The past is not even past. It lives now in the mind, in the present moment, influencing the pattern of your future. But if the past lives in the imagination, then so too can it be rewritten. Change your conception of yourself, and you will automatically change the world in which you live. Do not try to change people. They are only messengers telling you who you are. Revalue yourself, and they will confirm the change. I remember once a woman came to me in tears. She had been humiliated, dismissed by her employer, told she was unqualified and replaceable. And she said, "Neville, this has already happened. What can be done?" And I said to her, everything can be done. For nothing happens unless it is imagined first. And if it was imagined into being once, it can be reimagined into transformation. I told her to close her eyes, to return, not in anger, but in imagination, to enter that moment again, but this time not as victim, but as creator. I guided her to revise the memory, to see herself being celebrated, congratulated, uplifted. She must see the same room, the same people, the same moment, but change the outcome over and over until it felt as if it truly happened. I am not the man I was before. I am the man I desire to be. I live by this inner law that imagining creates reality. And within 1 week, the manager who had dismissed her was transferred. A new supervisor, unfamiliar with her past, saw her work and promoted her. It was not coincidence. It was law. The outer world rearranged itself to match the new memory she planted within. This is the power of revision. This is the resurrection of events. You were never meant to live chained to your yesterdays. You were not born to be bruised by the past forever. You were born to create, to imagine, to shape your world from the inside out. You are not the echo. You are the voice, and you can speak again. There are many who will hear this and say, "But it's dishonest. That's not what happened." And to them I say, what do you care more for? The truth of your senses or the truth of your soul? The senses report only what the mind believes. And if you believe in limitation, in shame, in injustice, your senses will oblige. They are not masters, they are servants. I do not teach you to lie to yourself. I teach you to free yourself. The world you experience is not fact. It is belief outpictured. If you can revise a moment and feel it real, the subconscious accepts it as truth, and that truth outpictures itself. The outer world must obey the inner script. This is not superstition. This is law. Dare to believe in the reality of your assumption and watch the world play its part to bring it into being. When you lie on your bed at night before sleep overtakes you, replay the scenes of the day. But do not replay what hurt you. Do not reinforce what you regret. Instead, revise. Take the conversation that went poorly and hear it again with new words. Replace the silence with understanding. Replace the insult with admiration. Change the ending and change it again, not once, but until the new memory feels truer than the old one. You are not pretending. You are planting. You are writing new lines for the great drama of your life, and the stage will respond, for consciousness is the only reality. There is no fiction. All things exist now. The whole of creation is finished, and what you do is select which part you occupy. Do you see? The past you remember was never the only version. It was simply the one you believed into being. But beside it, there were always other possibilities, other timelines, other outcomes waiting to be claimed. When you revise, you do not travel back in time. Time travels through you. You realign yourself with another version of self, a version whose past is already healed, already uplifted, already blessed. And that self, that version draws into the now. You must become ruthless in this. You must take dominion over every memory that shames you, over every event that seems to define you. You must look it in the face and say, you are not the final word. I am, for the I am is eternal. The I am transcends time. It speaks from the beginning and the end. It declares the thing and sees it established. To revise the past is to reconstruct it with a new meaning. It is to forgive by imagining anew, to redeem by seeing differently. And so I ask you now, what moment in your life still owns you? What scene do you replay in secret when no one is watching? That is the moment you must revise. That is the wound begging to be rewritten. Feel the power in your hands. Feel the clay of memory softening in the warmth of imagination. Mold it, shape it, make it holy. Because what you revise revises you. The moment you revise a scene and feel it real, you alter your point of consciousness, and in doing so, you alter your timeline. This is not metaphor. It is mystical law. I do not speak of wishful thinking. I speak of deliberate transformation through the creative act of assumption. When I revise, I do not merely imagine better. I assume it was always this way. Let me repeat. I assume it was always this way. I do not remember a failure and hope for success. I erase the memory of failure and write success in its place. I bring myself to the inner conviction that what I imagine is more real than what I once experienced. Because truth is not what happened. Truth is what you accept as real. This is the cornerstone of all my teachings. Feeling is the secret. You must feel your new memory until it takes on the tones of reality, until it awakens within you a new emotional frequency. Only then has the revision taken root. Now let me give you my exact steps for revision, the way I have practiced and taught it. Recall the scene clearly. At the end of your day, or whenever a memory causes pain, go within and recall the scene. Bring it to your mind's eye. Let it rise up vividly. Feel the discomfort if you must, but prepare to dissolve it. Rewrite the scene in your imagination. Now, change the dialogue, change the outcome. Imagine it ended beautifully, powerfully, joyously. If someone insulted you, hear them praise you instead. If you were rejected, see yourself accepted. Construct the new scene with clarity and precision. Enter the scene and feel it real. Don't merely watch it, enter it. See through your own eyes. Smell the air. Hear the new words. Feel the warmth of the new outcome. Stay there. Relive it as if it truly happened. Dwell in it until it feels natural. Let the new memory replace the old. Declare to yourself, this is what happened. I have always been treated with love and respect. I am always chosen. I am always enough. Say it until your mind surrenders. The subconscious cannot tell the difference between a real and vividly imagined event. Fall asleep in the new assumption. As you drift into sleep, do so with the new scene playing softly in your mind. Let it be the last vibration you entertain. This seals it into the subconscious. Persist until reality conforms. You may see changes instantly or gradually, but remain faithful. Return to the revised scene often. Reaffirm it. Trust that the outer world is rearranging itself even now. This is not a technique to feel better. It is a technique to change reality. And reality always changes when the inner self is transformed. Do not accept the facts of life as final. The facts are only the fruit, the outer manifestation of your inner assumptions. There are those who revise once and claim nothing has changed. But I tell you that's only because they still cling to the original event as truth. They revise, but they do not believe the revision. Your belief is the activator. Your faith is the conductor. Without it, even the grandest visualization will lie dormant. That is why I speak to you now, not as one giving advice, but as one handing you the keys to your own kingdom, because what you revise revises you. Change the memory of lack into abundance, and you become the one who always had enough. Change the memory of heartbreak into connection, and you become the one who is always loved. Change the memory of shame into confidence, and the world will bow to your new self-image. All transformation begins with an intense, burning desire to be transformed. You must want to be different. You must assume you are different. You are not who you were, not even 5 minutes ago. You are becoming now what you believe yourself to be, so do not let old memories bind you. Set fire to the pages that no longer serve you. Burn them in the furnace of your imagination. Rewrite them, rescript them, and watch the whole world shift accordingly, because the world is not outside you. It is within you, always. When I revise, I do not do so with anxiety. I do not revise with a trembling hand, hoping life will change. I revise with authority. Why? Because I know the truth, that imagining creates reality. I know that when I close my eyes and enter the state akin to sleep, what I feel as real will be birthed into this waking world. Perhaps not immediately, perhaps not tomorrow, but inevitably. There is no power outside of the imagination. Man is all imagination, and God is man, and exists in us, and we in him. There is no outer cause, only inner causation. So I sit in the theater of my soul, and I recast the characters. I rewrite the script. I reposition the lights, and I direct the scene as I desire it to be, because it is my play, it is my stage, and I will no longer let the shadows of old wounds dictate the narrative. You see, every time you revise a scene, you rewrite the blueprint of your life. You return to the foundation and lay a new cornerstone, and from that cornerstone, all structure is built. If a house was built on betrayal, then your relationships will echo that frequency until you revise. If your identity was constructed around rejection, then the world will reflect that self-image until you revise. But once you revise, once you plant a new seed in the subconscious, a new harvest must come. That is the law. That is the promise. Dare to believe in the reality of your assumption and watch the world play its part relative to its fulfillment. This is the daring that separates the few from the many. Most relive their pain endlessly, worshiping the facts of their suffering. But I ask you, do you want to be right or do you want to be free? Because you cannot have both. To be free, you must release the old. You must release your grip on what actually happened and accept what you now choose to remember. You must become a creator, not a historian. I do not care what the world said about you. I do not care what was written in your past. You have the power to tear it down, word by word, and write a new scripture over your life. To revise the past is to reimagine your future. This is not metaphor. This is mechanics of mind. I have watched students of mine, ordinary men and women, transform completely through this act of divine editing. They revised their failures into triumphs, and life caught up to their new assumption. They revised their lack into wealth, and opportunities materialized where once there were none. They revised rejection into love, and now walk hand in hand with partners they once thought were lost forever. How is it possible? Because everything exists in imagination. Everything. You are not waiting for life to change. Life is waiting for you to change, internally. When you revise a scene, you are not dealing with the past. You are dealing with your present consciousness. And when that changes, everything does. It does not matter how real the old memory felt. Reality is not governed by feeling. It is created by it. So what will you feel now? Will you feel the pain of being forgotten or the joy of being chosen? Will you dwell in that moment they overlooked you? Or will you now imagine the light in their eyes when they said, "You're exactly what we need"? You decide. You always have. Every revision is a redecision. And here's what I've learned through decades of spiritual experimentation. Once you revise a thing in imagination, the universe gets to work like a faithful servant. People change, conversations shift, letters arrive, phone calls come, circumstances rearrange, and you stand in awe, wondering, how could this be? It is because you are the operant power. You are the dreamer and the dream. All things exist in the human imagination, and every man is what he is because of the use he makes of his imagination. That is why I say again, do not be timid with this technique. Use it boldly. Use it decisively. See yourself differently. See your past differently. And life will not delay in showing you a new face. You are not the victim of what happened. You are the author of what now happens. Revise as though your life depends on it, because it does. Revise until the new scene feels more real than the old one. Revise until your heart believes it always happened that way. Revise until you cannot remember the pain without laughter. Revise until the old you is nothing but smoke behind you, and the new you shines like the morning sun, because the world is plastic to your inner world of thought. You do not fix life by fighting the facts. You fix it by forgetting them and forging new ones. The mantle is yours, the moment you accept it. Now hear me clearly. You are God dreaming in the body of man. This body you wear, temporary. This name you carry, a costume. This world around you, a projection of the imaginal acts you have accepted as truth. And so, when you revise, you are not simply changing thoughts. You are awakening the dormant God within you, the Creator who no longer begs from the world, but commands it from within. Be ye imitators of God as dear children. That is not a suggestion. It is a divine instruction. It is the invitation of the ages to walk as the one who knows they create reality by what they assume to be true. Let me remind you of the exact steps to manifestation I practiced and taught, so that you will never again be at the mercy of appearances. Step 1. Define your desire first. Become clear about what you desire. Do not wish vaguely. Say with precision, I desire to be wealthy. I desire to be loved. I desire to be free from this illness. I desire to live in my dream home. Clarity is power. You must know what seed you are planting in the subconscious. Step 2, create an imaginal scene. Once you know the desire, create a short imaginal scene that implies its fulfillment. It must be vivid, condensed, and from the end, as if the desire has already been realized. This is critical. You do not imagine the process. You imagine the result, a friend congratulating you, a hand holding your check, your new name on a door, the feeling of the wedding ring, whatever implies your wish is now true. The drama of life is imagined first and then enacted. Step 3, enter the state akin to sleep. This is your golden doorway. Quiet your body, relax the mind, drift into drowsiness, the twilight state between waking and sleep. This is the magical realm where the subconscious is most receptive. I called it the state akin to sleep. Here you feel the scene. You play it out in imagination as though it were unfolding now, not as a watcher, but as the actor. And above all, you feel it real. You generate the emotions of the wish fulfilled. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and continue feeling it until it has the tone of reality. It is not the words, but the feeling that impresses the subconscious. Step 4, fall asleep in the assumption. Let your last conscious thought be the new reality. Do not return to the old man's world. Do not analyze. Do not doubt. Do not rehearse how it will happen. Just fall asleep believing it is already done. Your assumption, though false if persisted in, will harden into fact. The subconscious does not argue. It accepts what you feel as true. Step 5. Live from the new state. When you rise from your imaginal act, you must walk in faith. Do not return to the senses to validate your new state. Walk, talk, and think as one who already has what they asked for. This is the law of assumption in its most potent form. You do not try to manifest. You embody the version of you who already did. You no longer ask, where is it? You say, thank you, it is mine. Even if the world shows you contradiction, persist. Let no one defraud you of your prize by insisting on appearances. You are not called to worship the facts. You are called to change them. And now you see why revision is so powerful, because when you revise the past, using this very method, you change your state. And when your state changes, your entire future changes. It's not magic, it is law. You are always creating, either deliberately or by default. You must now become a deliberate creator, not just a passive dreamer, but a commander of reality, using your imagination as the divine instrument it is. Imagination is not daydreaming. Imagination is God's voice in man. So when you revise, you are rewriting the word. And as it is written, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The beginning of every new chapter of your life starts with your inner word, your inner acceptance, your inner declaration of, so let it be. So now, beloved, pick a memory, pick a moment that hurt you, a time that told you you are small, or you are not enough, or you have failed. And go back, not to relive it, but to rewrite it. In imagination, change what they said to you. See the love that wasn't shown. Give yourself what the world could not. Change the outcome, change the emotion, change your perception, then repeat it night after night until it sinks into your subconscious as the only truth you recognize. And when you do this, when you revise boldly, when you imagine vividly, when you assume persistently, when you persist defiantly, the universe must bend, the people must play their new roles, the old doors must dissolve, and new doors must appear. Because as within, so without. Let these words sear into the very fabric of your being, for they are not borrowed from man, they are spoken from the deepest well of God in you. I tell you now, you are already everything you've ever desired to become. There is no distance between you and your dream, except the assumption of its absence. Remove that assumption and all barriers dissolve. There is no time but now, no place but within, no helper but your own imagination. I say it again, imagination is God. It is not a metaphor. It is not poetry. It is truth. Literal, mystical, eternal truth. When you imagine, you create. When you persist, you command. When you feel it real, the world obeys. No matter what the senses say, no matter what yesterday whispered, no matter who walked away, no matter how long you've waited, you are not at the mercy of time, circumstance, or history. You are the operant power. So, I say this to you as your mirror, as your reminder, as your fellow creator. Revise the past. Assume the end. Live from the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and persist until it hardens into fact. That is the law. That is the ladder from dream to manifestation. That is how you bend time. That is how you bend reality. That is how you manifest $10 million or a healed body or a love reborn or a life completely transformed. You do not wait for the world. You create it from within. And when the world reflects your assumption, when the check arrives, when the phone rings, when the healing happens, when the doors open, you will know, with tears in your eyes and power in your chest, it was always you. You were always the one. Not by effort, not by hustle, but by faith, by imagination, by the law. So go now, close your eyes, revise the story, feel it real, and say with me one final time, it is done,